A few episodes ago, Sam Manningly showed us round his monitor desk and told us that when it powers up, little red fish appear at the top of every channel, because that was the designer's favourite fish, a red snapper. Let's see it in action.
One of them turns solely red to be the red snapper. I think it's this one here.
So this is while it's doing its boot up routine. These little fish appear on each channel. Thank you, Sam. That's a rare treat.
There she is, the red snapper. Oh, you missed her. She's gone.
Oh no. Thank you, mate. What
No
a
worries,
rare
my
treat
pleasure.
that was. We're in Oslo, and rather annoyingly I've mislaid my selfie stick. I think it's in my suitcase, which is in the luggage compartment of the bus, but I'm not unloading it yet because we can't get into the venue till 2:30, so that's going to make a bit of a late sound check. Anyway, here we are at the harbour, and it's got a fair number of old boats, and of course the Scandinavians were fearsome seagoers, and many of the last grain ships that used to do the run round the Cape Horn from Europe to Australia and back were owned and operated by Swedish, Danish and Norwegian companies, and of course they had a massive whaling tradition. And when the first explorers went searching for the Northwest Passage, they used to bump into Norwegian whalers in the most surprising of places, have already penetrated further into the Northwest Passage than the Victorian Navy had. This is the Christiana, formerly the Helga, built in Borga in Finland in 1948. A magnificent beast. Imagine being a 16-year-old boy and told to climb up there. There are fortifications up on the hill. Yeah, lovely. Bit chilly, mind, but then it's Norway. There's been snow all over the place on the drive in, but it's a positively balmy 3 degrees today. I'm concentrating on keeping my finger away from the lens in the absence of my selfie stick. No idea where I'm going to go. I'm just going to go. Lots of arty sort of ting going on here. This is a statue of a very famous Norwegian who used to go around people's houses and make their drinks fizzy. These things on his back are those canisters of gas that you use to make fizzy drinks. His choice of footwear was not always appropriate. But the fizzy drink canisters are faithfully represented here. Up here we have a positive wealth of naked ladies. nice. With the obligatory impressive erection behind them. Let's poke on around the corner. Maybe we could get up onto these old fortifications here. There's a statue of a fully clothed man. Traces of snow. Must have been a lot of it. There's some big piles left. And I'm looking for one particular statue in the harbour that I saw coming in that is spectacular and fabulous. And we'll see if we can find it. There's a statue of a fully clothed Franklin Roosevelt. Two big questions. A, why is he here? B, why does he get to keep his clothes on? A naked Franklin Roosevelt would have been a more powerful thing. We're inside the old fortress. We've got a nice little stage there. Piles of snow. These are the old barracks, I guess. I suppose we've had to climb the hill. I'm going to try and save some battery for that particular statue, which I think is just over the hill in the other branch of the harbour. But for once I'm not going to duck out of climbing the hill. Wish me luck. That's the hard way up. Let's take the easy way. Okay, last flight of steps. Well, that was worth the climb, wasn't it? Look at that. God. Oslo sits at the head of a very large fjord. So we need to press on around the corner, see what we can find. The gun platform here, overlooking the harbour. You must have felt pretty strong when you're standing behind one of these guns, looking at some enemy wooden ship coming into the harbour, and you've got these things to fire at them. You're going, yeah, bring it on, bring it on. There's more there. Okay, we need to start making our way down now, because the thing I want to see is just around the corner. Okay, another in our collection of fine statues. This one has rather more feel of equality about it, apart from the fact that the man is about half the height of the woman. This is the national monument to Norway's war dead. National monument for victims of war 1940-1945. I'm not sure what two deed figures are. A stylized depiction of a vaulted boat in a sea of boats. Okay, if he hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known that that was a depiction of a vaulted boat, to be honest with you. Though I suppose you can see the hull. That's possibly the sail, but I'm told I'm too literal in my interpretation of artworks. Okay, we have an absolute embarrassment of impressive erections here. That big building I love, it's redolent of the strata of rock that you see as you drive through the mountains. that sculpture thing there is fabulous. And then there's the opera house. I don't think I'm going to have time to take the walk up there, but I may do it after lunch if we have time. It's a long walk back. But look at that, all of that in one vista. Okay, we're a bit closer. That opera house is spectacular. Sadly, it's hard to get a good, I can't zoom in anymore on this, of that piece in the water there. And I think I have to go and get some lunch now. We had to pre-order our lunch, so I'm off to that. But in another lifetime I'll walk up and down that. This is cool, little collection of sort of sauna huts, I guess. People cold water bathing here. Nice little place to sit around the log burner. Very nice. For privacy reasons I will not film too much of this, but looks very good. A couple of old boat hulls joined together to form the closure of a hut. Okay, I can get an Uber to the lunch place, so we're going to attempt at least part of this. And this is the right angle to see that sail-like sculpture piece thing from. So I'm not going to go right up the top, just going to go down this end. Get a good view of that. This whole bank here is lined with these cold water swimming stroke sauna cabins, which are now popping up in places like Brighton and Margate, wherever hipsters gather. This is a fabulous building. Somehow for me, Norway Norway is a place in which the landscape is dominant and the works of personkind cling precariously to the rocks, as opposed to dominating the landscape. The landscape is king here, and the buildings, this kind of reminds me really of the mountains, the angles that the crags sit at. And that really is a fine thing, and well seen from this angle. The looks like the many sails of a ship under full sail. Where I live on Mersey Island in Essex, they race oyster smacks, which are wooden sailing boats with a lot of sails, and that reminds me of them. Yeah, and that I love. And I'm not going to do the full climb thing, I'm afraid. Call me a wimp, but I'm hungry. Call me a hungry wimp. This is Max's rat's nest. I'm going to kneel down so I can get close on it.
Right, so it looks a bit geeky, but it's quite simple. Basically, this is my amp because we're on a silent stage. So Jay uses a Kemper, I use this. This is a tube preamp, basically, with a speaker emulator made by Friedman. So it's got two 12AX7s inside, and it's basically a Marshall in a box. I don't use the gain channel, so I just use the clean channel, which is really good and fat. And then it's a very simple signal flow. So it's basically tuner, and then it goes in this Nobles overdrive that works under 18 volts, so it's got a lot of headroom. Then my signal is all about headroom, basically. Then it goes in that distortion, which is also kind of like JCM in a box, running under 18 volts. Then it goes in that compressor that runs under 18 volts as well. And then before that, sorry, I forgot, I've got this always on pedal, which is a preamp, basically. It's a 15 volt preamp that it's like Photoshop for guitar, basically. You try it and then you cannot turn it off. It just gives you that extra kick. This goes in the effects loop. It's the multi-FX by Wampler. So it's got everything, tremolo, chorus, you name it. I just use it for tremolo on the Gem. Then it's got a clean boost, 20 dB. I just use it for like a 5 or 6 dB kick. This is an all analog delay, recently released by Boss. It's called the DM101. So it's got all the classic Boss delay pedals in it and some more stuff. And it's stereo, and it's a beautiful ping-ponging thing. So basically the output of the amp goes inside the delay, and then I go stereo output from that, and I go in a Digitech Polara reverb, which has a lexicon chip. So it's basically a lexicon in a box.
Okay.
And that's it.
And how many different settings do you use during the show?
3. So basically clean tone, overdrive, distortion. And my distortion has always the overdrive on top of it, just to have an extra wool.
And
that is it.
The acoustic instruments go through this?
Yeah, the Yairi guitar goes in this Acoustimax, which is a BBE thing. So it's got an EQ and a maximizer. To be honest, I bought it because of the Max name, but it actually sounds really, really good. So yeah, that's my rig.
Thank you, Max.